Welcome to U-Talk. I'm Paige Turner, school counselor at Noble Middle School. Our show is all about the middle school student. Testing, bullying, dating, stress, and so much more. We discuss it all. Joining me each month is a dynamic and engaging panel of middle school students ready to discuss the issues and tackle the tough questions. We kick off our show with some Q&A, featuring questions on a variety of topics from middle schools throughout the school system that our panel of students are ready to answer. No question is too tough, no topic is too difficult. All right, panelists, here is question number 1. I want to be a writer or historian or archaeologist when I get older, but my parents don't seem to support me. Usually they are very supportive and allow me to make my own decisions, but they say that the jobs I want are not profitable and can be even dangerous. They want me to enter the science field, particularly the medical field, but I know I wouldn't be any good and I never really liked science or math. I told them this, but my mother said she would not let me take up history or writing or media. She says I can pursue my passions after I get a decent job, but I don't want to waste years of my life doing something I hate. How do I get the job I want when my parents won't support me?
Well, your parents have to support you with every step you're gonna make. It's your life. Your parents can't just control you. They might have made you there, but they can't tell you what you're gonna do in life. It's your life. You were born that way.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find a job that includes writing. Maybe that is a little something, and then that has writing in it, put together. I guess.
Yeah.
It's a tune one.
I would say explain to your parents that it's your passion and it's what you want to do, and if they don't support you, then it hurts your feelings, and you want their support throughout your life. So.
Yeah.
I kind of think that, the parents are right that maybe, they want you to take up a job that maybe might be a little bit more profitable, but the jobs that you want, it's your passion. So if you really want to do that and that's the job you want to stick to, then I suggest you go for it. And even if your parents say, oh, maybe you shouldn't have taken that job, they will support you because they're your parents.
Yeah.
It's their job.
You have one life, so you got to use it.
Yeah. Maybe you could be a writer when you grow up, but have a second job that puts together.
Right. Well, and I think right now it's a little bit difficult, with you guys being in middle school because there's so many options out there for you guys, and some of you may know exactly what you want to do. Others may change your mind every month or every week. I remember when I was your age, I flip-flopped all the time about what I wanted to do, But when I got into college, when I really started, kind of honing in on my passions and things, that was really the time that I was really focused. What do you think about, let's say, I can see possibly a parent say, well, I'm not going to pay for your college if you're, majoring or doing something that I don't support. What would happen then? What do you think?
Try your best to pay for it yourself. Take out student loans, and then later in life, you can pay those off.
Okay.
Maybe some kids have a fund or some sort of money that they've been saving for college, and maybe try to do some little jobs and pull together some enough money to maybe get a semester or maybe a year in college to see, well, you did it yourself. Your parents didn't really, like you said, they're not going to support you if you didn't have that job that they wanted, but they don't need to. You can try and do it on your own, and that's what it is. Life is where you do what you want to do. So you gather all the money and stuff that you want to do, and you go to college with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And most high schools usually do have a job before, so they can take some of that money and put it to their college account.
And start saving for themselves. And it may be really difficult, but it is possible, you guys were all saying. And obviously, like you were saying, Josh, you want your parents' support in everything that you do, but you also want to be happy.
Yeah.
And so I could see maybe even exploring some options that have something to do with writing, history, archaeology, join a club or, take some courses or some classes, and maybe your parents or this person's parents could see how passionate you are about it.
If you could, you could probably go to college and do what your parents want you to do, but you could, take time on your own to focus on the other thing by yourself. There's so many things that you can learn from, and so, the internet or something, you could just learn from that, and, online degrees, there's so much that you could do.
Yeah.
You could, learn 2 things, like what your parents want you to do and what you
Right.
Yeah,
really
like
want to do.
like since the parents want them in the science field, maybe he could like write about, like, let's say the science field made a new medicine. Maybe he could write about the new medicine or something like that.
That way you can kind of
Do both.
merge together,
Yeah.
join them together. That's a great idea.
Like
It
have a
is.
talk with your parents about it.
Yeah, and I think that's really the most important thing is to communicate and, make sure that they're hearing your side in a respectful way, but also listening to kind of what their concerns are, because they do have some valid concerns about, are you going to have enough money to, live the life that you maybe are used to living? That could be a concern. Or are you doing something that's dangerous? As a parent, it's tough to let your child go in situations like that, but sometimes you just kind of have to let them do it, right? Because it's your life. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next one, guys. That was great. Thank you. My dad is in the military, so that means I don't see him a lot, but the problem is that every month he leaves us for a whole weekend or sometimes for entire weeks. But the worst part is that he went overseas 1 year and it was hard. He's going back overseas next summer and won't come back until 2019, which means that he will miss Christmas, my birthday, and lots of other stuff. So here's what I need to ask. How do I make my dad leaving us not make me feel so sad?
Well, you can like always like be in touch with your dad or something. Like your mother can like stay in touch with him, like, and you could stay in touch with him with your mom. So like if you want to see how he's doing, you could just text him or call him or like mail him letters, and then he could feel happy that you're still
Try to stay in touch as
yeah.
best as you can.
A little while back, they were selling like these stuffed animals that had like a message in them, and then you could like talk to them.
You
through
could
that.
record your own voice or something.
Yeah, and put it through that.
That way it makes it kind of seem like he's there,
Yeah, and
even
you can
though
hear
he's
him and
not.
see him. So yeah.
Yeah.
For those
This-
special days like Christmas and her birthday, you can like Skype with him, because I know some parents, they have their laptops or whatever and they Skype with their kids if they're overseas or something. So you can keep in touch with him for your birthday and Christmas, and mail him letters, let him know how you're doing, how you're feeling.
Yeah. What about, it sounds like you guys have great ideas about how to correspond even though they're not physically there. What about doing some things when you start feeling sad, because you can't change the situation? We're all going to be in situations in our lives where it doesn't make us feel good, it doesn't make us happy, but we kind of have to figure out ways to get through them. Maybe finding some things that do bring you joy and happiness, and when you start feeling that sadness, jumping in doing some of those things that you love to do.
Or maybe do like something fun and just get your mind off it. Like
Just to lift your spirits up, for sure.
and
When he comes back, you guys can, do everything that you want
Yeah,
to.
you can keep a list and maybe plan all the things that you're going to do.
Like-
when he gets back.
yeah, maybe if you have like a little tradition
Yeah,
with him, maybe you could do something like that with your mom or whoever you're living with right then.
yeah.
I have some friends that, and I know people that have parents overseas, or their parents were in the military and it was hard for them, but they, you be nice to them because it's something that they're going through, and just try to hang out with them and be as nice to them as you can. If they ask you to, like you said about the traditions list, maybe do it with some of their friends that have been like there, and maybe they know about it and you guys can have fun with it. And when he comes back, do whatever you want to do with him and have a fun time so you can remember it when he goes away again.
But like they're also doing something really good for your country, which is awesome to know that they're doing something good for your family and everything. You might not see him, but you know that he's trying his best.
Yeah,
for
like,
It still
everyone.
makes it hard, but you know that he's doing the right thing and that it's really important. So, well, thank you guys so much. That was that's good advice. That wraps up U Talk Q&A. Now, coming up in our next segment, my co-host Megan DeMolina talks with the panel about setting goals, both short-term and long-term goals. Goals are things we want to achieve. By making a plan and breaking down goals into small steps, students can set the progress they are making. When we return, we'll explore steps to setting and achieving goals.
Start your day with New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show. This Rise and Shine program will put a smile on your face and a spring in your step. Best of all, you'll start the day a little smarter. The Morning Show features an exciting 6-hour mix of exclusive features, cooking, entertainment, news, science, math, and more. New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show, educating all viewers to achieve today and tomorrow in a global community. Only on this channel.
Welcome back to U-Talk. I'm Megan DeMolina, school counselor at Noble Middle School. Goal-setting skills are essential for young people. They empower students to strive for self-improvement and have control over their own lives. By reaching goals, students gain confidence and are able to identify, adopt, and maintain healthy behaviors that will help them be successful in the future. On today's show, we are talking with our panelists about the steps that they take in achieving short and long-term goals. Welcome, panelists. We're back again. Happy New Year. 2018 has arrived, and we're talking about goals today. How do you all get started with setting goals and goal setting in general? How do you get started with that whole process? What do you do first? Do you think that it's best to start with like a long-term goal and then work backwards and set smaller short-term goals, or do you think it's the opposite?
I think you're supposed to do the opposite. Like, start with the short-term goal, and then when you get that done, you can kind of like work your way up to long-term goals, because you can like learn from the short-term goals and see what you can do for the long-term.
For me, it's easier to make a long-term goal because like I feel like I already know what I want to do, so my long-term goal is like set. But short-term goals, it's hard for me to like set them. Confusing.
And practice them daily, weekly, monthly, leading up to that goal, right?
Yeah, maybe like, I like to do like one for like the rest of my life, like maybe 95s or higher on my grades, or like, and then do like a bunch of short ones, like finish my book in a week or stuff like that.
So there's like an overall longer goal or vision that you have for yourself, that you kind of have that expectation set, and then working to
smaller goals,
smaller chunks or smaller parts within the day or within the week to help achieve that. That's a great example. All of these are great examples. What do you do, Maggie?
Well, I kind of agree with Samaya. I already kind of know what I want to do so for my long-term goal, I kind of know like what I'm set onto. And short-term goals, they kind of come like, they're like kind of harder to set because you have to try and figure out what short-term goals will lead up to the long-term goal.
Right.
So
like if you're dreaming to be like a pro football player or something, your short-term goals would be like be good at agility or something, and then you could work your way up from that to do your long-term goal as a football player.
Yeah, do like a lot of exercises and stuff.
Yeah, goals are like resolutions, and you're kind of setting those intentions, and no matter how high the goal might be for yourself, or how lofty the goal might be, you do have to kind of come back down to the daily habits that you practice, throughout the course of just a smaller amount of time leading up to, and then celebrating your achievements, right? When you make those little small steps towards your goals, how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good.
Like you've accomplished something in life.
Right, you kind of feel unstoppable, like, okay, I've got that under control.
It might be small, but the feeling is huge.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
For like me, like sometimes I really do like to read. So when I read books and like I finish it in the time that I was meant to, like sometimes I take a little bit longer to read and enjoy the book, but sometimes it's a book I don't really enjoy. I go through it fast, but I still do understand it. So I kind of like celebrate a little bit, like I feel good because I finished the book. And I'm like, okay, now I can move on to the next one.
Personal accomplishments can really motivate you to jump into the next goal or to continue with setting more goals and working towards that. So what steps do you have to share with other middle school students who are maybe struggling, kind of getting started, or what's worked for you? What's been most successful along the way?
Ever since I was younger, I knew that like I like to take care of people. So I knew like what I wanted to do. My long-term goal is like I want to be a pediatrician. So like maybe figure out what you want to do, and if that's hard for you, try different things like maybe figure out what you like. A lot of people know what they
Yeah.
like too.
Right.
There's
And
like-
then you can set little goals, and then you move on to a long-term goal that you would do for the rest of your life.
Identifying those passions early in life and what you're really excited about and what motivates you is so important, because that does help you kind of figure out and identify, what am I working towards here? Where do I need to start?
So like Samaya said, if you don't know what you want to be, maybe you could do like little camps. Because like I think most
That's a good idea.
places have different camps. Like you can go into science, math, anything, stuff like that. And
Yeah, you're all in the exploration stage, if you will. Just kind of, that's an exciting and fun part. It can feel overwhelming because there are so many choices and options, but that's a really great way, Ava, to just kind of try something out, try a new skill or try a new passion or interest. And then you can find out for yourself, like, hey, I really like this, or I want to know more about that, and kind of set that as a pathway.
And in middle school, you get like long times of a class. You don't like in elementary school. You usually alternate if you're going to do social studies or science, but you get to do all of it, and then you can figure out, well, I really like science class, so maybe I'll move into science or stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And remember, it's important to set these goals for yourself, but also to be accountable for your short-term and long-term goals. What do you do to kind of help that? Do you talk about that out loud with your family and friends? Do you write it down? Like, what are some other helpful hints or tips that would really help kind of stay on track with
Some
your
goals, like I like to share with my parents or something, and then I share it with my friends. But the thing is, they like shut it down. They're like, that's never gonna happen or something. But that just gets you to where you want to try more. You want to try harder and to get to that goal even
Yeah.
faster.
To prove them wrong.
Use that
really.
as motivation to.
Sometimes I tell my brothers those
Yeah.
things, and they shut it down too. So I'm like, oh yeah, you want to see this?
Sure, watch me, right? Exactly. You can kind of use that to your advantage to, kind of spring into like, well, there are naysayers out there who think I can't do this, and I'm going to prove myself and prove others that I can do this, and I will. And it's part of that growth mindset too that kicks in, that you tell yourself, I can do this, I can, make this happen. And do it.
You can't say that other people can't do the thing that they want to do.
Right.
Like, I'm sure they have their own goals that
Good point.
that probably other people would like
And like if
just
you don't
be mean about.
Right.
if you don't pass one goal, you can move it on to the next week or
Sure.
year or.
Right. Sometimes it is hard to get one started, and you have to maybe put that on the back burner or wait, and then put others in place based on your current grades maybe, or what types of activities you're doing or you're into. And also depends on the time of year too, I think. Don't you think? So.
For me, my goals, I share my goals for like with my parents, the ones that I want to be a veterinarian when I grow up, because I know that sounds like every 4-year-old girl's dream. Or so
Working with animals, yes.
Yeah, but I've actually considered really doing it because I can't stand to see them hurt, and it kind of bothers me a lot. And so those ads on TV, I can't even watch them. They make me cry.
It gets you emotional, yeah.
So I tell my parents them saying, hey, I really want to do this, or I'll write them, maybe the smaller ones that don't matter like they matter but not the big as much as the biggest one. I'll write them down in like a journal or something and saying, okay, this is my goal for this week, and I want to get this one done before I can move on to this goal for next week.
Right. Absolutely. And you definitely want your goals to be realistic, and you want them to matter to you personally, and you want to make sure that they can be measured, through the course of time, and that you can see along the way what steps you've taken and how you've reached the smaller, shorter goals to ultimately get you to the long-term goal. So it doesn't feel so overwhelming and stressful, right?
Yeah.
That's really important. Thank you so much, panelists. Now don't go away. When we return, my co-host will return to talk about stress management.
Your company can join these local businesses in offering students with disabilities the much-needed experience to compete in today's job market. For young people with disabilities, participating in mentoring programs, job shadowing, and internships are great ways to make them stand out among other job applicants. If your company would like to add a student intern, then contact the Special Education Department now at 910-254-4445.
Welcome back to U-Talk. We just finished discussing setting and achieving goals. One thing that can have a significant impact on reaching our goals is dealing with stress. Coping with school stress and homework pressure can create a lot of school anxiety for students of all ages. Panelists, how do you manage the stress of the daily academic demands? What do you guys think? Like, do you feel stress from school on a daily basis, do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like
The homework is
the teachers give us a lot of work. Like we have
Okay.
web quests and like
hate
all
web
this
quests.
homework, math homework. It's just a lot. And plus I do other out of school activities. So
So it sounds like the volume of work that you guys are getting, in addition to like trying to manage your time because you're in school for 7 whatever hours a day.
I mean,
And then-
your goal is to like finish the homework and
Yeah.
like finish the project. Like, cause I remember last year and stuff, I would like finish a whole entire project in like one night, and also like piles of homework from just like work that I haven't finished yet or something. So, and then whenever you do that, you feel like super like achievable. Like you feel so good in yourself. You
You've
feel
reached a goal that
happy.
you had, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so we've identified kind of what the stress is, probably in addition to other things that stress you out about school and home and just life in general. What do you guys do to manage that stress?
Maybe like maybe take like little breaks. 'Cause sometimes if you haven't finished work at school, it carries on for homework. Like don't come right home and then go straight to homework. Maybe like watch a little TV, eat a snack, go play outside or something, and then do homework. And then if you have a lot, maybe take little breaks in between.
So you get that break right after school because you've been working really hard and you've been focused, and you know, kind of build up that energy level again, having a break, and then you can kind of tackle everything later.
Yeah.
And then take breaks when you feel like your like energy level's kind of sagging again. It's a good idea.
I like to take, like you said, take breaks, and then I'll like read for 5 minutes or so to get my mind to like calm down and like
Put together.
yeah, like refresh so I can, so after 5 minutes I can go, okay, this is enough, and then maybe in like, if it takes me that long, maybe in another hour I'll read again, or 30 minutes while I continue doing my math or science projects.
Yeah.
Is it hard to come back to it, like when you're taking your break after school or you're taking your reading break? Is it hard to stop that because that's what you
Yes.
really like to do and prefer to do?
but you know you
just
have
like
Because you
got
really
myself a
want to
break.
do
Yeah.
the fun. You want to do the fun.
Yeah.
But when you come back inside, you're like, then you want to go back outside. And then you come back inside, and then you're like, I have to do this. Now it's like dark out,
Yeah.
and you have to finish all this, like, all this homework, and it just a lot for you this one night. Or
So time management and stress management kind of,
Yeah.
for the
Run together.
academics, kind of go hand in hand, it sounds like.
Whenever you want to go play something, it pushes you to get done faster because you're eager to go do something. But if you're like, well, I have nothing to do, so I'm just going to kind of sit here for a little bit, kind of work on it, but not really. But if you're wanting to go do something after you're doing your homework, you'll be done with it quicker.
I don't understand how you guys take those breaks. Like, I have school, and then I either have cheer practice or I might have a game. So, and then when I come home, like 7 o'clock, I'm just so tired, and then I realize I have homework to do. And I can't like really take a break. Like last night, I was up to like 12 o'clock working on my TED Talk. It's just a lot to do.
It is. Well, and you made a good point that it really depends on what will work for you, because you know some students may be able to take breaks and can kind of stop themselves and come back to it. Other students may need to push through because they know once they kind of, you know, let down, you know, their guard a little bit and relax, they're not going to be able to come back.
like
So
last year, my problem was like for me, like not getting my work done was me taking breaks, like before I did my work, so like I would get the assignment and just like stare off or something, like just not even thinking or thinking about something else actually. And then so that was my problem, and now what I do this year, I do my homework and then I go and do whatever I need to do.
So that's motivating to you because you know that like the fun stuff will happen after the homework or the things that you need to get done.
Maybe the problem, like, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but maybe the problem of like doing the fun things before homework, and I to be honest, I take a break before doing my homework, but maybe the problem with that is that you rush through your homework and you don't really do the best that you really could do, and you just do whatever you just slap down whatever you had and then go outside and do that thing, and maybe you didn't do the best on that project, or maybe you didn't do the best on that grade, so you realize, well, maybe I should have took my time and slowed down a little bit.
I mean, and I think you just kind of are reiterating that point that it really is what's going to work for you as an individual, you know, because I do know that there are students that do rush through their work so that they can get to those fun or relaxing activities. Other students, you know, they can push through, you know, and get it done so that they have that time afterward. It just kind of depends on your personality and what works for you.
Yeah.
That's for sure. You know, and I think that, you know, stress is just a natural part of life, and you guys, you know, whether you're in school or out of school are going to have situations that that cause anxiety and stress, but it's learning what are the types of things and activities that are going to kind of bring those stress levels down. Because when you're constantly living in a state of stress and high anxiety, it's not fun, you know, and it can impact so many other areas of your life.
And like sometimes my mom, she gives me, well actually every time during the summer, she tries to give me homework. And so I had to like write an essay on like why kids shouldn't have homework over the summer to prove it to her. And then I did an essay why kids should, but the thing is, all I wrote on that was kids shouldn't have homework on summer break.
Yeah.
That's all I wrote on that one.
Well, it sounds like she was trying to keep up your stamina and keep you kind of engaged during the summertime. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your information and advice on how do you manage stress in your life. Well, that wraps up our program this month. I'm Paige Turner. On behalf of my co-host Megan DeMolina and the entire UTalk panel, thanks for watching. We hope you'll submit questions to our show and tune in again next month for an all-new episode of UTalk.